Ask for permission from an elder to speak. Can I get permission from an elder? Thank you, elder. Man, can y'all give y'all all yourself a hand for coming out today before I get this spiel? So I never really gave a speech, but today, I'm gonna speak because the brother Benny Holmes asked me to do this, and I feel honored to come do my thing today. He told me to speak about economics, and he told me to speak about liberation. And when he told me that, I was inspired to get his speech. I like to call it, "Get off the boat and create your own." So we're gonna take this economic situation and we're gonna analyze it. We're gonna analyze it at the point of slavery. Let's go back to the years of slavery. It was abolished in about 1865. That was roughly about 100 years ago. During the times of slavery, although there was a limited number of free blacks in America, the free blacks controlled approximately about 1% of America's wealth at that time. Let's fast forward 150 years later. Now we're all free blacks in America, but as a whole, we still only control 1% of America's wealth. Now that really sounds like there's something wrong with that. Now we go 50 years past slavery, around time about like 1920, or it's about 60 years, 1921, you have a place called Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's Black Wall Street. You have black entrepreneurs building and coming together so we can have our own. When we built our own, this place was bombed. The only place in America bombed by their own military because they wanted to stop what was going on there. It was just in 1920. Now you have the civil rights era. During the civil rights era, we fought for equality. And we fought for equality. But at the end of that, it seemed like the only solution that we got was desegregation. And I think desegregation at its heart is a beautiful idea where two different people can come together and live in harmony amongst each other. But instead of getting equality, we just gave up all our businesses. Think about all the businesses that we own, that we were forced to spend with each other. We had our own sports teams. We had our own major hotels. You had people like the Nation of Islam that had 5-star hotels. We had this because it was a necessity to do such. We no longer have these things because there's no focus to create these things in our community. Now, as of 1950, we say that we have a level playing field, but we still don't. Because as of 1980, you're seeing that the wealth disparity between black and white race is 20-1. That means back in slavery, when you only control 1% and you were 3/5 of a human being, you fast forward to 2015, we are now 1/30th on medium average income of that of an average white household. That means that your average black family has 1/30th of what your average white household should be. So that means that the disparity is on the decline from the 60s, and it continues to get worse. Now let's look at Birmingham. Let's go further and look at Birmingham. We talked about the civil rights era, and you talk about those days. We sung "We Shall Overcome," and we think about those days where our grandmothers, and some people might have been through their time themselves, where a lot of us were working at jobs like custodial work, cleaning behind white people just to make a living. Now, if you look at Birmingham is 79% black, but only 3% of black businesses have employees. Most of the black businesses are mom and pop stores where their own family members regulate these stores themselves. They don't even have the economics to get employees. Now, can anybody in the crowd tell me what's the biggest business in Birmingham as far as black business with the most employees? As of 2015, the biggest business in Birmingham as far as black people owning and having employees is Falls Janitorial Service. And anybody can research that if you don't believe it. So this is 60 years past civil rights era, but still the biggest business in our city, Birmingham, is Falls Janitorial Service. I think that's a shame that we are 79% of Birmingham, yet we control less than 30% of the economics in our city. We must focus on spending money with ourselves, spending money with people look like you. That's the only way this situation is changed. We must not do this with any malice in our heart against any other people, but we must do this to move our people forward. If we go to the Jewish community, open up a bread store, I guarantee you those people will not shop with you, not because there's any hate hatred, but there's policies in their community where they spend with people that look like themselves because they're about self-preservation. I don't think we should move with any malice, but we must self-preserve, and I feel like the key of controlling our economics will be the key to our liberation. Not only economic liberation, but we need mental liberation. We need to control our schools. Right now I work with an organization called the One House Movement. I don't know if anybody has a Facebook page, but if you can go on Facebook, take out your smart devices and look up the One House Movement. Every Friday we have a book club. Right now we're reading the book Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. We meet every Friday at about 7 p.m. at First United Presbyterian. Also, every Saturday we go to different housing authorities, what people call the projects, and we clean up from 3 to 6. If you look on the page, you can also see those cleanups. We also work with different people in the city, like Callahan Martial Arts. We have karate classes for the youth at very affordable prices. We're doing anything and everything we can to incite the minds of our people, build these partnerships, and control it, because we must get off this boat and build our own. I had a little bit more prepared, but I'm gonna keep it brief, and y'all get the point. Thank y'all family, and you have a blessed day.
Indeed.